The star fields above the academy shimmered like a million watching eyes as Lieutenant Mara Quinn stepped off the transport ramp. The air was thick with the ozone tang of plasma generators and the musk of alien bodies. She straightened her gray uniform, creased from the long journey, and felt dozens of gazes turned toward her. Every species in the Intergalactic Coalition's War Academy had gathered to see the new recruit. The cumin, laughter rippled through the crowd like static. A scaled Carthan cadet clicked his mandibles in amusement. "They sent us prey," he hissed. "Soft prey." Another, a four-eyed Ixari, tilted its head. "No claws, no carapace. Is this a morale experiment?" Mara ignored them, her boots striking the metallic floor in steady rhythm. She'd read the reports. Humans were viewed as primitive, emotional, unpredictable. The Coalition accepted her only because Earth had joined the Alliance recently, eager to prove its value. But she hadn't come for diplomacy, she'd come for command. The first day's lecture hall was a cathedral of steel. Floating holoscreens displayed war simulations, while instructors, hulking officers from half a dozen species, drilled the cadets on survival protocols. At the center stood Commandant Voreth, a towering reptilian veteran with eyes like molten gold. His voice rumbled through the chamber. "Cadets, your final trial will not be fought in simulators. You will bond with a weapon of war, an apex predator. Only one of you will earn its loyalty. The rest," his fangs glinted, "the rest will be remembered." A collective shiver spread through the recruits. Apex predators were living engines of destruction, genetically engineered beasts from a dozen war fronts. They were meant to be controlled through neural links, but few had ever succeeded. Mara could feel the fear in the room, the unspoken truth that even their strongest species had failed this test. When the massive doors opened, a sound like thunder filled the hall. The creature emerged. Black armor plating, eyes burning like dying suns, each breath a growl that shook the walls. Cadets stumbled backward. Mara didn't move. Her pulse spiked, but her gaze was steady. The monster locked eyes with her and froze mid-snarl. For a heartbeat, silence swallowed the room. Then Mara did something no one expected. She smiled. The apex predator was more shadow than flesh, a living storm of sinew and armored plates. Its breaths came in low, seismic rumbles as cadets approached one by one, each armed with a neural link circlet, and the trembling hope that they might survive. The bonding pit stank of fear and blood, remnants of those who had failed before. A Sheathan warrior stepped forward first, confident in his forearms and chitinous hide. He placed the circlet on his temples, activating the link. The predator's eyes flared, and within seconds the warrior screamed, his mind overwhelmed by the creature's fury. The link shattered, and the predator hurled him aside like debris. Med drones whisked him away. One after another, the recruits tried. One after another, they failed. When Commandant Voreth finally called, "Human, step forward," the room went still. Mara Quinn walked through the haze of fear as if it were mist. The other cadets whispered bets on how quickly she'd die. She stopped a few paces from the creature, the neural circlet cradled in her palm. The apex lowered its head, nostrils flaring, scenting her. Its growl reverberated through her chest. She raised her chin and met its gaze. When she activated the link, the world fractured. A surge of alien thought, raw, primal, furious, flooded her mind. She saw flashes of battlefields, cages, endless pain. The predator was not a beast, it was a soldier that had been broken, remade, and enslaved. It wanted freedom, not another master. Her knees nearly buckled under the torrent, but she didn't fight it. She reached through the mental storm and whispered into the link. Not with dominance, but with under. Standing. Enough! The predator froze. Its memories stopped midstream as if startled. In the silence of their shared mind, she showed it her own memories. Earth's open skies, laughter, the ache of loss, the defiance of survival. Something ancient shifted in the creature's consciousness. A low rumble built in its chest. Not anger, but acknowledgement. The giant lowered its head to the floor, exhaling heat that made the air shimmer. Around them, disbelief spread through the onlookers like wildfire. The neural link pulsed once, steady and strong. Mara reached out, resting her hand on its armored snout. The apex predator bowed. Whispers of the human's victory spread through the academy like wildfire. Mara Quinn, the fragile creature they'd mocked, now walked beside the apex predator, designated and specimen X9 though she called it Ungrave Fang. The creature's massive frame moved in silent deference beside her, its eyes following her every command. What had begun as ridicule had turned into wary silence. Commandant Voreth observed them with unblinking suspicion. "You don't control it," he growled one day during inspection. "You influence it. That is not command." Mara met his molten gaze. "Influence works better than fear." Her defiance unsettled the others. Training intensified, simulated battles tested coordination between cadet and beast. Greyfang responded to her thoughts with fluid precision, weaving through obstacles, shielding her from plasma fire, and disabling enemy drones with surgical brutality. The instructors recorded every motion, seeking a pattern they couldn't find. Then came the day everything changed. During a routine fleet exercise, alarms shrieked through the academy. Unidentified vessels breached orbit. Black ships with no insignia, firing on coalition defenses. The command center erupted into chaos. Cadets panicked, officers shouted over each other, and the admiral in charge hesitated, paralyzed between protocol and terror. Explosions rocked the facility. Shattered glass rained from the ceiling. Mara felt the predator stir within her mind, the same pulse she'd felt during their bonding. She didn't wait for orders. She sprinted toward the hangar, Gravefang thundering at her side. "Cadet Quinn!" Voreth roared. "Stand down!" But she didn't stop. "Standing down gets us killed," she shouted over the comms. She leapt into the command platform, hijacking the Academy's defense network. Her fingers flew across the console. "All automated turrets, Vector 27, shield frequencies to pattern Delta, Greyfang, frontline engagement." The Predator howled, a sound that split the storm. It tore through invading exosuits like paper, moving in perfect sync with her orders. The alien officers watched in disbelief as the human coordinated tactical maneuvers faster than any AI system could process. When the last hostile ship burned out in the upper atmosphere, silence fell. The Admiral turned toward the central screen, where footage showed the apex predator kneeling before the human who had just saved them all. Across the galaxy, every broadcast replayed the same moment, humanity's first command over a living weapon. The smoke from the orbital battle still clung to the Academy's shattered towers when dawn finally broke. The once pristine training grounds were scorched and cratered, but amid the wreckage stood Mara Quinn, framed by the rising light, her hand resting on Greyfang's massive shoulder. Around her, soldiers and cadets of every species gathered in uneasy silence. No one laughed now. The Commandant approached slowly, his armor dented, his crest dark with soot. "You disobeyed direct orders," Voreth said, voice low and gravelly. "You risked the entire facility." Mara looked him straight in the eyes. "And I saved it." The silence stretched, thick with tension, till the Commandant exhaled, a sound halfway between a growl and a sigh. "You did," he admitted. "And you showed us something we've never say." His gaze flicked toward the Predator. "A creature bred only for killing, obeying not fear but respect." Greyfang lowered its head slightly, acknowledging both of them. The gesture sent a ripple through the assembled crowd. For generations, the Coalition had believed domination was strength. Whoever commanded the deadliest weapon ruled. But in Mara's hands, power looked different. It looked like trust. Word of her victory spread faster than light. Broadcasts across the galaxy replayed the footage, the human giving crisp tactical orders, the apex executing them flawlessly, the impossible bond that turned the tide. Recruits who had once mocked her now studied her methods. Instructors rewrote training protocols, shifting from control to cooperation. And on dozens of worlds, new cadets whispered her name before facing their own trials. Mara stood in the Academy courtyard as the Coalition Council's insignia flickered onto a holoscreen. "Lieutenant Mara Quinn," the delegate intoned, "for demonstrating unprecedented command and redefining interspecies warfare, you are hereby promoted to Commander of Apex Operations." Applause erupted, not polite, but thunderous. Greyfang let out a deep, resonant roar that echoed through the mountains, a salute to its commander. Mara smiled faintly. Later, as the stars stretched across the night sky, she rested against the beast's warm flank. "We're not done yet," she whispered. "There's more to teach them." Greyfang's golden eyes blinked in quiet understanding. Across the galaxies, new recruits trained under her doctrine, the human principle. They had laughed once. Now they whispered her title in reverence and fear. Alpha,